left-wing Kingz. Listen, think, act, repeat.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy announced that the House will be opening an impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Now, Democrats accuse McCarthy of using impeachment as a political weapon, and they're saying there's no proof of anything. They just stop this craziness. You know, you just going overboard with this. So, Wanda, help us understand a little bit about impeachment. Give us impeachment 101 and tell us what your thoughts are on this predicament.
All right, so we'll go ahead and start off with the definition of impeachment. It's a political process through which a public official, typically it's going to be a high-ranking government official, such as like your presidents or judges, it can be removed from office. It usually involves charges of misconduct or abuse of power. Now, what happens next is the House of Representatives, they have the authority to impeach a federal official by bringing charges against them, and the Senate conducts a final determination or a trial to just determine whether to remove the official from office. Now, according to New York Times, McCarthy, like you said, has brought up against some allegations, and he's been fact-checked through that as well. So he has 7 accusations. I'm not going to go through all of them, but just a couple here. So McCarthy's first accusation is Biden has made false or overly simplistic statements about his son's business dealings and what he knew about them. Now, as we know, Biden trips over things and forgets information. And now why we arguing the fact of whether he should be a president or not, because he doesn't maybe recall some of the information. So the fact is not clear where Biden willfully misrepresented. Okay, so he's not intentionally saying, I don't remember. He honestly may not recall this information, nor is there any evidence supporting what McCarthy's claim is. Republicans also claim and have uncovered proof that Biden was aware and met some of his business partners, which he acknowledges that. That's like if people come to your home and you meet them, doesn't mean that I have some type of developed relationship. But
Exactly.
He does admit, and that is factual, that some of these people have been to the home and he's had interactions with them. Second claim is McCarthy claims eyewitnesses have testified that the president joined on multiple calls and interactions that resulted in millions of dollars into his son's and son's business dealings. Fact check. Republicans have found evidence that Hunter associates have engaged in a high-flying lifestyle. Yes, but it doesn't mean that Biden was necessarily exchanging or any type of things were exchanged based upon that. So no evidence there. Republicans also proved no evidence that he was involved in landing that business or anything, as far as like Biden was directly related to these business dealings. So those are just a couple.
Yeah, I just don't know what he did. Usually when somebody's getting impeached, they did something. You know what I'm saying? Like, they did this, so we're going to impeach him. They're saying Hunter did something.
Right.
I haven't met where, like, even if they related to you, they do something and you get in trouble for it. So to me, it is political. You know what I'm saying? It goes back to this because it's all being narrated by Trump. He's forcing and telling all the people that are in Congress, you need to impeach Biden, you impeach Biden. You know why? Because he's under the gun right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm tired of the tit-for-tat politics.
Yeah, for real.
That the Republicans are playing. Hey, you know what y'all are doing this to Trump, so we're going to... It don't work like that. And Trump's the only one that brought that along. Like, look,
Exactly.
Biden haven't did anything. And if there's smoke or you think it's something, well, cool, investigate it to see what's going on. But to call out an impeachment before you find anything that's going on is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Backwards.
I just, it takes the credibility away. But that's talking about McCarthy. McCarthy's hand is being forced because the Freedom Caucus is threatening his job because to become the Speaker of the House, he had to sign a crazy deal with them. But not even all the Republicans agree with what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's driving the line right down that party that Trump just kind of went in and just, destroyed. And now gets to get them to do his dirty work and play at his hands. And that's what he's trying to do with Biden. So and we talked about this in one of the shows. It's all about chaos.
Yeah.
Half the politicians, the people going to say, well, this he's impeachable in this, and they're going to believe it. They're going to be going on with all the Hunter Biden stuff. But those same people, I want to say, it's people in your family that have broke crimes. So if they did crimes, and they start blaming you, the first thing you going to say is, I didn't do that, that's them. I don't care how close they are related to you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, but you going to sit up here and judge Biden on what his son did. Maybe his son did do all of that. I don't know. But it ain't got nothing to do with him if he ain't involved with it.
Exactly.
And that's the craziness about it.
I think it's funny because, like you already alluded to, they're putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
They're trying to utilize impeachment in order to find information rather than find the information, find the evidence, and then charge him because of what he did. They're using it as a political, as a weapon. It's being weaponized in order to make you look bad, even though you didn't do anything wrong. So at the end of the day, the argument usually is, hey, well, the Democrats used it as they weaponized the justice system and they weaponized impeachment against Trump. So you saw what Trump did.
Yeah.
And when he went out there and talked to these people, told them to go down to the Capitol, that's all he needed to do.
Yeah.
After that, anything that happens after that, he incited it. He told them to go down there. And then second piece to that is not so much as what he did do, but what he didn't do. And what he didn't do is usually when something happens, a president comes on live on TV, if it's that important, and says, we need to calm down, we need everybody to be calm, yada, yada, yada. He did not. He did nothing initially. When it was happening.
Not initially.
When it was happening, he should have got on there and said, all you people stop. We need to let our democratic process take its place. If we do find something that says that I should have won the election, then we'll go back in court and we'll do what we got to do. But this is not the right path to take. So it's not so much what he did do, right? The evidence, but the evidence is also what he didn't do, in my estimation. Yeah. So I think they are basically weaponizing, and I think they need to watch out because I think it's going to have some bad implications. I think some bad things can happen from them weaponizing this impeachment.
Bro, you knew when you said go down there and march on the Capitol, you knew what was going to happen. Hey, you've been planning it for the last 6 months or whatever. So you knew exactly what was going to happen. So we seen what Trump did. That's why he got impeached. You know, it wasn't the Democrats just came up with a plan to impeach him or plan him. He did some stuff, so they said, okay, we got to impeach this guy.
Right.
You know, what did Biden do other than trip over a sandbag?
That's all he did.
He didn't even freeze up like Mitch McConnell. I mean, he just.
I mean, so let me tell you. Let me go here with it. I don't know if there's even smoke. There's no smoke for a fire. It's kind of like what you said. If we walk in the same circles, I'm gonna bump into some of the people who you know, and it doesn't mean that everybody you know. There could be somebody who I know that dealt drugs before.
Yeah.
Or still does deal drugs or whatever. But because I'm at the club and I talk to him, I ain't talking about doing drugs with you. I'm not talking about dealing drugs.
Yeah.
I'm not getting involved in that. That's not my lifestyle. I may know you. I may run in the same circles. And if they all run in the same circles with somebody who lives a luxurious lifestyle, they got money. Of course, they ain't running around with us. Okay, they running around with people like them who got money, and because they bumping shoulders, and he's talking to people his son knows. Yeah. And he's on the phone in the meetings with people his son knows or whatever. Don't mean he doing anything dirty.
No. Or intently. And do know that they did a poll as far as how other Republicans are feeling right now. And there's a lot that there's no evidence against Biden. So there's Bacon and Lawler, they're Republicans. There's 18 purple districts. So they're very concerned about, like you said, using impeachment. So it could backfire on them because now you got 18 purple districts and they may look out like you're just weaponizing or using impeachment to weaponize this man. So they did do a poll. 56% of voters in those districts believe an impeachment inquiry would be a partisan political stunt. So that's over 50% of the population there is saying, you know what, I don't have time for this. This is just a ploy. Let's get on. I want to know how you're going to help me economically. So it is a question on
yeah,
what
they got
doing.
some real conservatives with it. They got a Senator Buck. I can't remember what state he's out of, but he's a guy that went up when he was running for office. They said, well, vote for me. He said, because I don't wear high heels. I mean, this dude is old school conservative, and he ain't even rolling with him. He's like, man, what are y'all doing?
Right.
Exactly. There's a bunch of them. And I think to your point, like conservative, independent, Democrat, this weaponization of impeachment is going to backfire on them. And I think there's a few ways, right? In my mind, the first thing I think of is independent voters.
Yeah.
Independents don't like this stuff. They're looking at this and they're weighing both sides of the scale and they're looking at it like, man, that's dirty.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
That's just dirty. I mean, it has nothing to do with the politics of it all. It's just dirty. And independents seem to me to be people who they have conservative and they also have liberal thoughts in their mind. But when you go out and do stuff like this, I think you might lose the liberal vote. I think liberals are going to say, you know what, I can't stand for this type of behavior, and I'm moving, right? I'm going to vote for Biden. Now, the second thing I see is this is liberals and Democrats. There's some Democrats out there, they don't like Biden. They're like, man, we need to get somebody else. But this may help them feel like Biden is one of them. There's a lot of people out there in the United States who have people in their family on drugs. Mm-hmm. People in their family who have gone to prison, did things wrong. Mm-hmm. And when these people hear this stuff, they'd be like, man, I feel sorry for Biden and his son. Yeah. He's just trying to help his son. Even if let's say he didn't do anything wrong, but his son's probably using his president name. It's like, hey, I'm the president's son. You know, that's life. People do that nepotism stuff like that all the time. Doesn't mean he's doing anything illegal, right? Yeah. But at the same time, that's his son, man. Mm-hmm. And people care about their families. And when you see them attacking him because he's protecting his family, I think a lot of Democrats and independents are going to be like, you know what? I ain't standing for this. I got a person in my family on drugs. It don't mean that I did something illegal, or I got a person in my family who bought a gun illegally. It don't mean I did it. Yeah. But guess what? There's people out there right now on Facebook talking crap about my family because my son's on crack. Mm-hmm. Right. And now they talking crap about Biden because his son was on crack. Yeah. So you know what? I think I am going to vote Biden this time. I think those things like that are it's going to blow up in their faces. And the third and the last thing is like, I think like Democrats might start doing the same thing to Republicans. And I know I'm always been the one saying like, Democrats are like the ones that say when they go high, we go low. Or when they go low, we go high. The opposite, right? Yes. When they go low, we go high. Turn the other cheek. Blah, 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 blah. I think they're going to be like, you know what? Bump that. We going to do what they do. If they're going to use this like as a political weapon, we going to start doing that. You know what I'm saying? They might not, but it's possible.
I mean, Hunter Biden, you know, when he even talk about the gun case he got, right? He went in and when you go get a gun, you got to fill out your application, and they just ask you, do you have mental problems? Mm-hmm. Are you on drugs? Well, anybody can answer anything. You know how many people would be locked up for that?
Right.
If they filled out that form, like, you know, and it's federal charge and it carries 10 years and like I heard somebody say, look, that's just overkill. Like, right. You know, it's probably something you should probably get fined for. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a fine, and I think he paid it already or something. I don't know. I mean, and even, you know, it's funny because I was talking to people, all right, if you are on drugs and you buying a gun, you ain't admitting it to the rest of the world. You sure ain't going to admit it on no form. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. So it's just, what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand it. And why are we wasting our time on that?
Somebody asked a question like, how many people have actually been charged with that crime for like filling out that form wrong? Like,
I got some friends that is suspect about carrying a gun. I'm like, did you really answer that question correctly? Because I'm questioning your mental health.
You go to the therapist every Thursday.
Thank you. So what is happening here? But somebody gave you a weapon. Oh, okay.
It's really a question, man. You can fill out how you want. They ain't give you one. Like, anybody can do anything.
Unless you don't have some background, you know, as far as showing that you've been in a mental health institution.
Obviously, they ain't checking if they're just asking you on homage. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right?
Thank you.
They would have to ask you the questions. They checking. You know?
No doubt.
You know, and some of you it's questionable. It's pretty sad because I do think it's a personal attack, and I don't believe that people are going to change their character based on what other people are doing. If you have integrity, you have it, or you don't. That's just how I feel. I'm very black and white on that. You have it or you don't. Wrong is wrong, guys. Doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or independent or Republican or libertarian or whatever else green that we have. I mean, wrong is wrong, and that's what we need to stand by. You know, so
and I agree with you because that's how I live my life, but everyone doesn't. There are people that are willing to sell their soul for $5. I mean, for whatever they need to, that they will change their decision. But you do something for them, or they think they're going to get something out of it. Like we talked about last week, we got people going to prison for Trump so they can get a book deal in 5 years or something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's people that's willing to give up their ethical standards just because they're going to get some out of it.